Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if you could add a decade, maybe more, to your life? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, right? But the science is actually pretty clear on this. Today, we're going to break down the simple, evidence based habits that can dramatically extend not just how long you live, but how well you live. Let's kick things off with a number that really changes the game: 80%. A famous study of Danish twins found that only about 20% of how long you live is determined by your genes. That other 80%, well, that's all about your lifestyle. That means the power to live a longer, healthier life is, for the most part, in our own hands. So that leads to the big question, doesn't it? If our lifestyle is the main driver here, what exactly are the things we should be doing to get the biggest bang for our buck? Well, you might be surprised at how straightforward the answer really is. Okay, let's dive into our first section, the longevity equation. We're going to look at the hard data to figure out which habits actually move the needle. Get this, a massive study from Harvard followed over 100,000 people and found something incredible. If you adopt 5 key healthy habits, even if you start at age 50, you could add 12 years to a man's life and a staggering 14 years for women. That is a huge deal. So what are these 5 miracle habits? Well, they're probably not going to shock you, but their combined power is what's truly amazing. It's not smoking, maintaining a healthy weight, getting at least 30 minutes of moderate activity every day, keeping alcohol intake moderate, and eating a healthy diet. You see? They're simple on their own, but when you put them together, they are incredibly powerful. All right, let's zoom in on what's on our plate. Because really, the food we eat can either be fueling disease or it can be one of the most powerful medicines we have. You know, one of the biggest villains in the story of aging is something called chronic inflammation. The best way to think about it is like a small fire that's just constantly smoldering inside your body, slowly damaging everything. But here's the good news. Our diet has a direct say in how high those flames get. And when you look at it this way, the choice is pretty clear. On one side, you've got the foods that fan the flames, things like red meat, processed snacks, and tons of sugar. But on the other side, you have the anti-inflammatory all-stars, colorful fruits and veggies, fish packed with omega-3s, and spices like turmeric. The power to choose is literally right there on our plate every single day. You know, folks in the world's longest-lived regions, the blue zones, they have this really simple approach. They call it a plant slant. And hey, this isn't about being a strict vegan. It just means that beans, greens, and whole grains are the main event, and meat is more of a special guest, something they might eat only about 5 times a month. Here's another brilliant little trick for managing weight, and it comes from the Blue Zone in Okinawa, Japan. They have this saying, hara hachibu. It's just a little reminder to stop eating when you feel about 80% full. Think about it. That tiny 20% gap between full and stuffed can make all the difference. Another really popular tool people are using is intermittent fasting. If you're new to it, the 16-8 method is a super easy way to start. All you do is eat your meals within an 8-hour window and fast for the other 16 hours. And guess what? You're asleep for most of that fast. It's that simple. There's also the 5-2 plan, where you eat normally 5 days a week and just cut back on calories on 2 other days. Okay, next up, movement. But, and this is a big but, the way the world's longest-lived people think about it is probably not what you're picturing. We're not talking about brutal gym sessions or running marathons here. Here's the key difference. They don't exercise, they move naturally. Their whole day is designed to get them moving without even thinking about it. They're walking to the store, they're out in the garden, they're doing chores by hand. Movement isn't something they schedule, it's just a natural part of being alive. So for those of us who might have to be a little more intentional, low-impact activities are fantastic. Just aiming for something like 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day is a great goal. And things like cycling, yoga, or Tai Chi are awesome because they build strength and keep you fit without hammering your joints. This brings us to a piece of the longevity puzzle that, honestly, gets overlooked way too often. It's not just about what you do with your body. Your mind and your social life, they're just as important. In Okinawa, they have a special word for this, ikigai. It basically translates to your reason for being, or, my favorite, why you wake up in the morning. It's all about having a sense of purpose. And this isn't just some feel-good idea. Research actually shows that having a strong sense of purpose can add up to 7 extra years of life expectancy. 7 years! That's the power of knowing your why.
Of course, everybody gets stressed. I mean, even people in the blue zones have stress. It's part of life. The secret is that they know how to downshift. They have these built-in daily routines to let go of that stress, whether it's taking a short nap, meditating, or just kicking back with friends for happy hour.
And finally, find your right tribe. You know how they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? Turns out that's really true for your health. Your friends' habits are contagious. In Okinawa, they even have a tradition of forming moais, these small groups of friends that support each other for life. Surrounding yourself with the right people might just be one of the best things you can do.
So, the big question is, how do we put all this together in our own lives? Well, the secret isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about being smarter and setting ourselves up for success.
This leads to a really cool concept called the life radius. Studies show that most of us spend about 90% of our lives within a 5-mile radius of where we live. So if you really want to make a lasting change, you don't have to change the world. You just have to optimize that little bubble you live in. And that's the final thought I want to leave you with. Instead of relying on discipline to force yourself to make the right choice every single time, ask yourself this: how can I redesign my kitchen, my social life, and my neighborhood so that the healthy choice becomes the easy choice? Because that right there is the real secret to not just living longer, but living so much better.